What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this video where we will be covering the Disney Lorcana trading card game, Disney's brandly new announced trading card game. And yeah, this one's got my interest, guys. I don't know the last time I uploaded on a Sunday, so if you guys don't know me, my name is Joey. I operate Crossroll TCG here. I am primarily a Dragon Ball Super card game channel, but as of late, two other games have kind of gotten my attention, one of which being One Piece, which is also another Bandai trading card game property. And now Disney Lorcana's also kind of piqued my interest because, I mean, let's just be honest, who here didn't grow up on some sort of Disney property, right? I think that this has a potential to reach a lot of players, and it really just depends on how they handle the game, but it's going to be an interesting ride no matter what. I mean, we're still way early out from anything as far as like an official release goes. I think the official release date, or at least more information, is coming out in fall of 2023 from what I have read. So we got a ways to go, but basically they've shown 7 cards that they're handing out at D3, which is a convention. So only a select few people are getting their hands on these cards. And my first advice right off the bat, do not go out and attempt to buy these cards unless you are absolutely rolling in green, because I've seen the Mickey card, which is obviously the poster boy of the game and of Disney in general. That card is going anywhere from $1,500 plus. So again, unless you're like a serious hardcore collector, you have the money to blow, I would not recommend trying to go out and pick up these cards. But today what I want to do is just talk about everything that I know in relation to Disney Lorcana and read the cards that they have shown so far, because it'll give us a gist of how the game works in some way or another. We don't have any solidified rules as far as I could find. I did do some research before this video. If you guys know something about the rules, please drop it down in the comments. I'd love to see more about that. But yeah, let's get right into this. I want to go read through some of these cards, but before that, what I want to mention is this game is being designed by a company, and that company is called Ravensburger. So one of the gentlemen that's working for Ravensburger is a guy named Ryan Miller, and he was, as far as I'm aware, the lead designer of Chrono Clash, which is another Bandai-owned property. If you guys played the Chrono Clash system game with Naruto, Godzilla, I think they added some other properties before the game kind of died out. They ended up taking that time gauge system, the Chrono Clash system, and using it for Digimon. So Ryan Miller was lead designer behind that, the lead idea guy behind that. So take that information as you will. I enjoyed playing Chrono Clash on a very casual level. They tried to do some competitive stuff with it, and it didn't really take off. Then, like I said, they ended up taking that system and just bringing it over to Digimon. So yeah, we're not sure how competitive or casual this is going to be. I've heard many people say that somewhere they announced that this is not going to be really dedicated to a competitive player base, and again, that would make sense because casuals always make up a card game player base. I mean, your competitive player base is a very small fraction of that player pool, so it would make sense to me to definitely allocate more resources to making sure that casual players enjoy the game. But at the same time, if you don't have a competitive circuit, a lot of people are going to feel pretty bad about that and possibly not join up with your game. So who knows, maybe they'll design the game more so for casuals, but there will still be a competitive circuit. Many games are designed that way, and even though the games aren't designed with competitive players in mind, competitive players still, you know, establish metas and figure out what is good or bad within a given format. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into these cards. Let's start with Captain Hook. So I'm going to do my best to break down the card layout here. Gotta say off the rip, the artwork looks really nice. The card layout itself, I don't hate it. It's definitely a little busy in my opinion. I really appreciate Dragon Ball Super where it's a lot simpler and the card art just like shines a lot more. One Piece, I think this card layout for Lorcana is better than One Piece. Like the alt arts in One Piece might be some of the best cards I've ever seen in my life, but as far as like the regular, like common, uncommon, rare layouts go compared to this, I am liking Lorcana a little bit more. So let's break it down here. So in top left corner, this is super standard. I mean, this is most likely going to be your mana resource or your resource cost. So we don't know if it's going to be like a Hearthstone type mechanic or even like a One Piece Dawn type mechanic where you get resources automatically every single turn, or if you have to charge lands like Magic. We just don't know if that's going to be the case. I'd honestly really love if it was like Dragon Ball where you can charge any card in your hand as a color, as a mana of that color. That'd be really awesome. But yeah, this is going to cost one of whatever the game's resources. Now we move down, we have the card name, of course, and we have like a little tag for the character. So, I mean, assumedly there's going to be a million Captain Hooks in the game, so you want to have a differentiator to know this is the certain Captain Hook you're looking for, Forceful Duelist. And then we have some numbers here. So we're going to heavily assume that this 1 here is some sort of power, like attacking value, and we're going to assume this 2 with the shield here is some sort of defending value, because obviously it's a shield. That just makes sense, right? So you can see this is very heavily inspired from Magic the Gathering with power and toughness. If this thing attacks something, you're going to use the 1 value. If this thing defends something, you're going to use the 2 value. And of course, we don't know if every card in this game is going to be able to block, or if only select cards are going to have blocker. I don't think any of these cards have blocker on them, so that would lead me to assume that any card in the game, as long as it has not exhausted itself to attack, will probably be able to block. But again, that's just more of an assumption more than anything. Moving down a little bit, we have some more tags. We have Dreamborn, Villain, Pirate, Captain. If you guys are brand new to card games and are kind of confused about this, I mean, it could just be flavor text. There's some more flavor text down at the bottom, which is really cool, actually. I like the addition of that. But yeah, this is going to probably be important. Dreamborn, Villain, Pirate, Captain. Probably going to be important for different card effects. Something equivalent to like a spell card for Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! That, you know, says if you have a character in play with X trait, do this other thing. That's going to be a pretty popular example of what that's probably going to be like. And then we have the card's colors. So this looks like a gray or white card. It definitely could be either one in my opinion. But yeah, this symbol down here on the left is probably something tied to that color. And I'm assuming it's tied to color because we've seen 2 red cards so far and they share the same symbol. So yeah, I mean, maybe this game isn't color based. Maybe it's some sort of like faction based, and that's why the symbol is here. But I mean, with all the different cards having color borders, probably gonna end up calling them, you know, red, white, blue, purple, whatever different colors end up being in the game. So let's read the effect real quick. So Challenger +2. When challenging, this character gets +2. So right off the rip, they're using a keyword here, which I do like. Keywords make things a lot simpler. You don't have to print a book of text on the cards. I do like that quite a bit. When challenging, this character gains +2 to what we're assuming is that tough, or that power value. So challenging, what could challenging mean? Now, we don't know how life points are going to work. We don't know how dealing damage is going to work in this game. Do you attack characters, and then once you clear out the characters, do you attack players directly? Can you attack players directly whenever you want, sort of like Magic, and your opponent can block? We don't know yet, but I am going to strongly assume that challenging is when this card battles another card and not a player, because this seems like a very set 1 typical type of card where it's a battle card that, or a character card that can attack into other characters and help keep the board clear. But if you're going to attack the life points directly, it's a much weaker card. That's what this kind of screams to me. But if you know more about challenging, again, let me know down in the comments. But let's move on to the next card. We have Maleficent, which is a 9 cost. This is what we're going to assume is a boss monster, the monstrous dragon, Storyborn Villain Dragon, 7 power, 5 defensive value or toughness, Dragonfire. So this is not a keyword. This is probably something they just use to name the effect. So when you play this card, you may banish chosen opposing characters. So straight up play it for 9, remove something from the board. Now here's an interesting idea that I just had. Is this going to be like One Piece where you get up to 2 resources per turn, or is this actually a play that you have to wait 9 turns to make? That would be absolutely insane if you actually have to wait 9 turns in the game. So one thing tells me that, you know, this might be a 9-turn thing is like, you know, not most games don't give you 2 resources per turn. Most games give you 1, right? And that kind of just makes sense, because why would you multiply things by 2? If you wanted to do that, just cut all the card costs in half, right? That would make sense to me. But are the turns going to go quickly? Quite possibly, maybe. Or maybe they won't. Maybe this card will never see the light of day past like set 1 or something like that. But still very interesting. And one more thing I want to point out is we have these little symbols down here where if you notice on Captain Hook, there's only 1 of them, these little diamond-like symbols. And this card has 2 of them. Maybe that's a rarity thing, but I think this is just a promo, so I don't think it would be tied to rarity. I'm not sure. Again, if you know more about these diamond symbols, drop it down in the comments. But yeah, Maleficent, if turn 9 ends up being a thing you could feasibly get to, play it, kill a card. I'm sure over the span of the game's lifespan, we're going to get much cheaper cards that kill entire boards or more than 1 card. But yeah, I mean, it's preset 1, so cards are going to be a little bit weaker for sure. All right, next up we have Elsa. So we have a 3-drop with 2 power and 3 defensive value, and it's a purple card. So purple's another color in the game. Freeze, exert chosen opposing character. Okay, so immediately right off the bat, 1, due to this little symbol, and 2, with exert, kind of like seeming similar to exhaust, this taps a character. So your opponent has a character in active mode, you tap it, and you can very easily assume that only characters in active can actually block attacks. So purple is going to seemingly be pretty similar to yellow in Dragon Ball Super, where you're playing a form of board control, but you're not always clearing things from the board. You're just tapping them to kind of make them less of a nuisance temporarily. So that seems to be the theme of yellow here with Elsa. Then we have Cruella de Vil, miserable as usual. We have a 2 cost with 1 power and 3 defensive value. Storyborn villain, you'll be sorry. When this character is challenged and banished, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. Okay, this effect definitely reads very, very odd to me, and it seems very similar to Magic, which we know this game has Magic inspiration. Okay, when this character is challenged and banished. So, again, challenge seems to me that it's when this character is attacked. So, for example, if your opponent attacks us with Captain Hook, right? Now, Captain Hook will go up to a value of 3. This will have a value of 3 toughness. So, again, we don't know how it's going to work in this game. Do ties go to the attacker? Do ties just mean nothing happens? We don't know yet. But banished. So if you come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even Magic, where I think the term is exiled, that is different than sending a card to your graveyard, to your discard pile, whatever you want to call your simple pile of dead cards. Banish is typically different than that, but this game is already dealing with a term called banished in theoretically the first set or even before the first set. So is your banished pile maybe just your discard pile, maybe just your graveyard? That seems like a reasonable assumption to me. So when this character is challenged and banished, almost seems like it says when this card is attacked and KO'd or sent to the discard pile. Then it says you may return chosen character to their player's hand. So I don't see anything else on this card that says choose a character. So does chosen character immediately refer to this card? Does chosen character refer to the attacking card? Do you just get to choose any card you want and bounce it back to the hand? Is that how this thing kind of resolves? That's where the wording kind of trips me up. And again, it seems a lot more worded like Magic in that respect, instead of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dragon Ball, where you specifically choose a target before resolving an effect. So yeah, seems sort of powerful. If this thing can like block, get KO'd, and then bounce a card back to the opponent's hand, that might be decent if I'm understanding how it works properly. All right, then we have Robin Hood, Unrivaled Archer. We have a 6 cost, 4 power, 4 defensive value, Feed the Poor. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw a card. Not bad at all. Drawing a card in card games is always good. Good shot. During your turn, this card has Evasive. They can challenge characters with Evasive. So that seems to me like flying. In Magic, flying is a term that means only flying characters can attack other flying characters, and I think only flying characters can block other flying characters as well. So during your turn only, this will gain Evasive. So defensively, you probably can't block evasive cards with this, again assuming that anything in the game can block. But still, it seems like a decent 6-drop. Draws a card, can only be blocked by certain things, again assuming this works similarly to flying. So seems like a good card for blue for sure. And then we have Stitch. So we have a 6-drop, and this one has 3 of the diamond symbols. So again, maybe that's a rarity thing, maybe that's a resource thing. Oh, you know what I just thought of? If this game has a mechanic where you can charge anything in your hand, like Dragon Ball Super, where any card in your hand can be charged as a mana, maybe this counts as 3 mana, but that seems like it would be way too powerful. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be how it works, but that would be insane if that was the case. All right, anyways, 6-drop Stitch, Rockstar, 3 power, 5 defensive value, Shift 4. You may pay 4 of what we're assuming is the mana pool to play this on top of one of your Stitch characters. So that seems like an evolve. Shift is definitely a little bit of a weird word for that, but it is an evolve typing effect, it seems like. Adoring Fans. Whenever you play a character with cost 2 or less, you may exert it to draw a card. Alright, so if you play some sort of 2 or less that just garners immediate value on play and doesn't really have to attack or block, you get to gain more resources to your hand, which may be pretty decent. This seems like it establishes some sort of engine, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm assuming the Lilo Stitch deck will probably be, kind of revolving around these types of effects. But let's notice one thing here. So this card has a yellow border around the name and the character kind of title, right? But down here with all the tags, it's black. So is that, again, some sort of indicator of rarity? Is that just some sort of different card? That's really interesting how this just has a different border than the rest of the cards. Maybe it's a higher rarity type of thing, but who knows? So there is really only one more card to go over, and that is Mickey Mouse, the Brave Little Tailor. Another red card. Notice again the symbol is the same with Maleficent. That's why I'm assuming these symbols are tied to red. So we have an 8 cost, very high cost. Then we have a 5 power and 5 toughness, Evasive. So a very, very simple card. Only characters with Evasive can challenge this character. So if you're going up against Robin Hood, offensively, this could block Robin Hood, but defensively, Robin Hood could not block this. That seems to be the case. And I guess this could also block Robin Hood or attack into Robin Hood, depending on the scenario. But that covers all the cards, guys. Again, I know there's a lot of speculation in this video. There aren't really many straight up rules that were put out yet. And again, we're a little bit far away. This is expected to come out in the fall of 2023, I think is what I read before. So we definitely got some time and more speculation to do. But anyways, let me know in the comments below if this is a card game that you're interested in. I am definitely going to be trying it out once it comes out because, again, Disney's near and dear to all our hearts. Why wouldn't we try it out, right? But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.